discover and tame the wilds of Catan. It's Catan. Well, it's actually called the Rivals of Catan. It's the two-player game. Hello, welcome to the Bottled Imp. My name is Ken Boyter and this is a fancy review show. Today we're going to look at the Rivals of Catan. Now, I was first introduced to Catan, the base game. I don't need to hold this up anymore, this is the Rivals. I was first introduced to the base game about 5 years ago, and that was when we were playing lots of Talisman, but we started to look for other games to play. Somebody mentioned Catan, we got online, ordered it, played it, loved it. And then I noticed there was a two-player version. Was it as good? Would I enjoy it? Let's take a look. But more importantly, will you enjoy it? The Rivals of Catan is, the theme is basically settlement, discovery, conflict and trade. So it's two to 4 players. It's actually the two-player version, I've already said that. 10 years of age and up, the box recommends. I'd say if you're a clever 9-year-old or a clever 8-year-old, you'd probably pick it up. Also, it takes about 45 to 60 minutes. That's what it says on the box. I'd agree with that. Sometimes it can take a little bit longer. The setup can take, especially the first time you set this up, it looks complicated, but it actually is quite simple. It's a good sort of strategy, I'd say lightweight to medium strategy. So let's have a look at the components, shall we? I'm just going to point them out here. Now, as you can see, there are two regions, two principalities. Each player is a prince, or if you're a girl, I guess you're a princess, and you have a principality, and you are trying to expand that. The aim of the game is to get 7 or more victory points, and you get victory points in various ways. And I'll go through the components, I'll tell you how to get the victory points as we go along. So here we have one principality, here's another principality, and as you can see they're opposite each other. So what makes up your principality? Well, you have regions, and these regions, they give you resources. We also have roads, and you also have settlements. And when you upgrade a settlement, I'll tell you how to do that in a mo, you get a city and you overlay that. So those are your principality. The other thing in your principality is these cards here. And these are, when they're over here, they're called the draw stack. And in the base game, there's 4 of them. And we have the event cards. I'll just show you one. This is an event card. So as the game progresses, at a certain point in the game, you will actually flip this over and resolve this card. But we'll go through the cards in a little bit more detail. So what else do we have? We also have the trade advantage token. Lovely little illustration there, nice wooden tokens. You also have the strength advantage token, and we have 2 dice. One is our normal 1 to 6 sided dice, and the other one is the event dice, and it has various lovely little symbols on it. So, how do you play the game? Well, it's relatively simple. You each take it in turns, and I'll just go through what a turn consists of. It is rolling the dice, then you do your action phase, then you check how many cards you've got left in your hand, and then you exchange any cards, well, one card that you don't want for another card. So let's do a quick turn. You roll the dice, as it sounds, you roll the dice. And the first thing you resolve is the production dice. In this case, it was a 4. Now what you do is each of you will look at your principality and you will see what resource you are gaining. In this case, and I'll just hold this up for you to see, the 4 gains you a gold, and as you can see you've got 0 gold, and if you rotate it you then get 1 gold. Obviously if another 4 comes up, this player would get another gold to a maximum of 3. So there we go. And then in this case, a 4 on my side, this one is actually sheep. You get sheep. So I would then turn it 1 to show that I have 2 sheep, because you start off with 1 resource each for every resource apart from gold. Then what you do is you will then resolve this die. And this, as I say, is the event dice. And there's various different symbols. Now, I'm going to kind of go through these in no particular order. This is the question mark, and that symbolises the event. Now, if that gets rolled, you then, as I say, you go to the event deck and you flip it over and you resolve the card. Fairly straightforward. The next one is, as I say, in no particular order. This is Plentiful Harvest. And what this means is you each get a resource of your choice. This one is the trade advantage. Now I'll tell you how do you get the trade advantage in a minute, but if you do have the trade advantage, you then get a resource of your choice and the other opponent doesn't. This one is the robber or the brigadier. I can never pronounce it. It's the old thing here. It's the brigands. I think that's how you pronounce it. I think it's a Scottish word that means robber. And if they crop up, if you have more than 7 resources in your regions collectively, so for example that would be 3, so that's 7, 8, 9, you then lose all your gold and your sheep, and that applies for both players. What else have we got? We've got I think I did the harp. Is that right? Did I do the harp? That's the celebration. And that means if you have the most skill points, you alone receive 1 resource of your choice. Otherwise, if you don't have the most skill points, everybody gets a resource. I think that's all of them on there. So once that's resolved, what you do is you will have, each player gets 3 cards at the beginning. You will have your cards and then you go into your action phase. Now you can do various things on your action phase. One is you can play as many cards as you like, but you do have to have the resources. I'm just going to go through the different types of cards. There is the action card, and this one is Brigitte. She's Brigitte the Wise Woman. Now her little special ability, she allows you to pick what number crops up on the die. So if you were after a particular resource, then before you roll the die you can just play this card and say, I'm going to choose a 6 because I would like a wheat, for example. That's the only card you can play before you roll the dice. All the other cards get played after you roll the dice. So those are actions. There are various other actions that you can play, obviously. Now, this one, there are buildings that you can build. So this one happens to be an abbey. And what you do is you need, if you want to build that, you need to have a brick, a wheat, and an ore. And all you do is if you have all of those, you just flip them round 2 by 1 so they decrease your stocks of those particular resources. And the buildings will actually give you different special abilities. In this case it will give you a progress point, and we'll get on to what progress points means in a minute. So once you build it, you just simply put it in the spare slots that you have. Now example, this one is a unit and he is a hero, and he's pretty good because he gives you other perks such as 2 strength points, and also he gives you skill points, and they can become very useful, but I'll go into that in a minute. And again it's the same, this one he needs wheat, sheep and ore, and that's the cost for him to put out. So again, once you do that, you put down your resources by the amount that's specified, and then you simply lay them in your principality. There is another card, and that is it's another unit card, but it's a trading ship. Now trading, unlike the base game where you trade with everybody else playing, this one you trade with the bank at 3 to 1, so you have 3 of the same resources. So say I had 3 logs, but I wanted a brick, I would then trade the logs for that 1 brick. This is a brick ship, and it means that if I've built this, so I pay a log and a sheep, put that in my principality, and then from then on I can swap 2 brick for, so from then on I can swap 2 brick for 1 resource of my choice. So the trade ships are pretty handy. So those are the action cards, and once you've done your actions, Oh, the other thing to do is you can play your action cards. You don't have to play any. You can also build a road, and now what I call the base cards. So you can build a road. Now, roads come next to settlements. You can't put two roads together. And just like the other ones, they will cost you something. So this road costs 2 brick and a wood. And what you do is once you've got a settlement and you start the game with 2 settlements, you then build your road. And once you build a road, you can build another settlement if you've got the resources. And a settlement, for example, will cost you 1 of each of those resources. And once you do that, you put that down. Settlements give you victory points. So as you can see, this little symbol here, a little red flag, that's a victory point. When you upgrade, you can upgrade a settlement to a city, and that will cost you 2 wheat and an ore. That gives you 2 victory points. So it's not a total of 3, it just replaces one of them. So then you put that on your principality. And therefore cities are more valuable. Once you put a settlement out though, you do gain 2 region cards. And that's good because you will get 2 more resources. If you have an action card called the Scout, you can actually choose which region cards you get. You get to look through the deck and pick them. And that can be advantageous for you. If not, you then just pick the first 2 off the top of the deck. In this case, it was a brick and a log. So if you put them into your principality, when a 6 rolls, you will get the log plus whatever your other 6 was, which in this case, if I can find it, yes, it's the ore. So obviously the more regions you have, the more resources you have, and the more resources you have, the more you can build. The more you can build, the more victory points you get. You get the idea. So once you've done your actions, sometimes obviously you might not be able to build anything or even play any cards. You will then need 3 cards. You always have 3 cards. Now, if you haven't got 3 cards, you will then draw up to 3 cards, and you will then basically exchange one of them. So you can just say, oh, I don't want that one, put it back, and then you pick another one, but you put it back on the bottom. So that is your basic go. I'll just quickly talk about the progress points. Progress points, they mean you can get an extra card. So instead of holding 3 cards, you can hold 4 cards. The other thing, the other points are, some of your buildings will have the commerce points. And the commerce points means that you get the commerce token. That gets you 1 victory point. And the same with the strength tokens. That gets you, the strength points. If you have 3 of those, like the commerce ones, if you have 3 of those on your buildings in your principality, you get the tokens. And so if you have 3 strength, now that's why Kadamar is very good, because he's actually got 4. Look at his beard. It's a nice beard as well. Very strong. He basically, there's his beard, you can see it. He basically will give you, if you've got 3, he will give you the strength advantage. And that can help win the event. Sometimes it says if you have the strength advantage, you gain some sort of resource or something, a good little prize. If you have that in you get 1 victory point. So, well worth going for. When you've got 7, you are the winner, and you can be proud that you've built a fantastic principality. The game components are fantastic. The illustrations are really nicely done. Everything's thought through. As I say, when you first start playing, you may be a little bit daunted by it. It may seem a bit complicated. The instruction manual is very well done. There is also a list of all the cards and what they do. But there's more. Not only have they given you this base game, they've put 3 other expansions. I've only got holding 2 here. Era of Gold, Era of Turmoil, and Era of Progress. So they give you more action cards, more buildings. Where are they? There you go, more buildings. So there's so much in this box. And not only that, there's a game, right? There's rules for the Duel of Princes. And that means you get to play with all the cards. It's crazy. Such good value for such a little box. Totally recommend this game. If you love Catan, you will love this. It's perfect for 2 players, perfect for holidays. You know, it's a bit of a filler. It's 60 minutes. It's not going to take too much time. Very exciting. And they've also released a couple more expansions, and we'll be reviewing those in the future. Thank you for watching the Rivals of Catan, not to be confused with Catan. They've just rebranded everything Catan, but this is the Rivals of Catan 2-player. Hope you enjoyed the review. Hope you go out and buy it and play it. I totally recommend it. Please subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments. And again, if there's anything that you'd like us to review, please let us know and we'll do our best. Until next time, fellow imps, see you on the other side. I don't know what that means actually. I don't know what the other side is. I'll see you there.